Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Teacher Hadid and I am with Teacher Amna. I am an English language teacher and IELTS teacher. I'm also a teacher's trainer and we are running a language online language academy. We call it Virtual Language Academy. And in this channel, in Teachers Talk, we are going to discuss about how to teach English. The reason behind making this channel, behind making this video sessions, about making this live broadcast is to create awareness about teaching. So whatever we learned from our teachers, like teacher Amna and I, we both got teachers training. Especially I got teachers training from City Under College, New York. I have done TAFL. So we have been teaching as well for a few years now. So we have learned a lot of things. We have learned in classroom from international teachers, and we have learned from our own experiences as well. We have had great experiences. We have had bad experiences. We have seen great teachers, and we have seen horrible teachers as well. So the reason behind making this broadcast to create a little bit of awareness among teachers. So this entire live session is all about teaching. So our audiences are mostly teachers. So that's why we are going to talk about teaching, and we are an English language teacher and IELTS trainers. So our major objective is not about teaching in a school, about teaching English as a foreign language, because that's kind of experience I have. Teacher Amna, she has school experience and college experiences as well, but I only have experience of teaching English. So I have taught professional students. I have given public speaking classes. I have taught IELTS and teachers training courses. So that's what we have, and that's in this platform. We are going to share our opinion, the small, or I would say that the little experience we have, the little knowledge we have. We want to share it with our teachers around the world. So maybe we can make a difference, or maybe we can help new teachers. We can help fresh teachers to understand the problems in teaching, or they can become a better teacher by learning something from our own experiences. So today the topic is how to teach grammar in the classroom, or teaching grammar in a classroom. And so we in this entire video, first of all, we are going to talk about grammar, like why grammar is important, in which conditions grammar is important, and in which conditions grammar is not important, and why should we teach grammar in the classroom, and why should a student learn grammar in the classroom. And then we are going to discuss, in the end we are going to discuss how can we teach grammar in the classroom without making the class boring. So that's the main idea we have, and that's what we are going to discuss in the class, in this live session, and that is the kind of agenda we have. So teacher Amna will introduce herself, and then we are going to begin.
Good evening, everyone. As Farhadi told you about myself, like I've been teaching language for many years, and still I'm a school teacher as well. I usually teach O-level students, and the topic is very interesting. And let's start it.
All right. First of all, I will tell you about how I will tell you about my teaching experience, because this is our first live session from this channel. We have another channel, we call it Virtual Language Academy. We have a Facebook page as well under the name Virtual Language Academy. You can visit that. So we teach English there as well. We also give online classes. But from this channel, it is our first video. So let me introduce myself. Let me introduce about how I started teaching. So you will have a brief view about my teaching, you can say, career. So I come from a family where people speaks like people, they speak Urdu. They are not that much fluent speaker. We don't speak English language in my house. So I had like most of the people in Pakistan, I have that kind of phobia, a fear of speaking in English. Kind of let me tell you one life experience I had. uh, I went to my language class the first time. I learned English just like people are in Pakistan do. They go to language centers and they improve their English. So I did the same thing. I went to a language class the first time, and my teacher asked, "What is your name?" And when I saw my teacher, when I saw the students, all of the students were a little bit professional. There were some managers and there were some teachers from different institutes. So all of them were aged, kind of mature than me. So when I saw them, I lost my confidence, and because of hesitation, I forgot my name and I couldn't even say my name. I was thinking what my name is. I was that horrible that in front of my teacher I forgot my name and I couldn't say my name is Syed Hadid Raza. So I was that horrible when it comes to English language. So I started my journey from there, and I would like to say that I am who I am because of my teachers, and which is one of the reason I started teaching because I was so much inspired from my teacher. I wanted to be like them, so I became a teacher and I started copying them. And then I started with home tuitions. I started teaching English to my friends, and I was just copying whatever I was learning in the institute. And I was observing that the way my teacher was teaching me, their body language, their way of speaking, their
Yeah.
sentences, the way they are standing. I was copying everything, and for some reason, because I was passionate enough, it was easier for me to remember them. Even right now at this moment, I can easily remember the way my teacher spoke in the classroom and what kind of examples she gave in the classroom and what kind of lessons I learned. I still remember that without memorizing anything because I was passionate enough to do that. So there was a passion in this thing as well, and that my passion helped me a lot. So I started teaching with my friends, and then I got an opportunity to teach English in a well-known language academy,
Mm.
which is Eureka Language Institute. I'm still working there as well, like a contract teacher. So it was my first interview. I went there, and I had a experience of teaching English to my friends and to my family members. So I was not that much experienced. So when I went to my interview, my boss, his name is Sir Khalid. He's a great person. So he was the one who gave me the chance. He saw something in me, and I still appreciate that because he was the one who gave me the chance to teach English. Otherwise, I would not be teaching English. I would not be sitting here in front of you. So it was my first interview without any experience. So I stand there. He gave me a chance, and he observed my way of teaching. He knew that I had very less knowledge about teaching. I know English. I knew grammar at that time, but I had very less knowledge about teaching. But he observed my way of teaching since I was copying great teachers. So the way he saw my way of teaching, he was a little bit inspired the way I taught, and he gave me the opportunity, and I became a teacher. So I started teaching, and then after my starting my career, I got an opportunity to get this training about teaching English as a foreign language, which was supported by USAID. It's a kind of like program in USA. They help people in Pakistan to develop teaching, to develop education. So that was the scholarship I got, USAID, and I got teachers training from City College, New York. It was about how to teach English. We
Hmm.
call it TEFL. It's a term. It's a kind of like certificate for teachers. We call it TEFL, Teach English as a Foreign Language. You can also see that it kind of like my certificate here. The small certificate I have, that's it. I will zoom it later. You can see that Zoom certificate on my page as well. So that's a kind of like you can say qualification I got about teaching English as a foreign language, and I would like to say that was a game changer for me. When I saw internet, teachers from different countries and professors from universities, and when they taught me how to teach, so that was a life changer for me. That is the time I realized that in Pakistan, when I observed them and when I observed their teaching method, and when I observed my experience with teachers in the schools, in colleges, in institutes, and then I was quite surprised that in Pakistan we have a lot of knowledge, but we don't know how to teach.
Okay, picture.
There are a lot of teachers, and that is my point of view behind all of this 9 minutes conversation. That in Pakistan,
Yeah,
people's we know how we know knowledge. We are not illiterate people. We know a lot of things. We have experience. We just don't know how to teach English.
yeah,
We just don't
sir.
know how to teach physics, how to teach chemistry. So that was a life changing area for me.
Yeah, my experience was different from you. Like I've been very indulged in social media, like TikTok, YouTubers. So I got inspiration from there. And yes, you said very right thing. Like in Pakistan, many of the teachers, especially the old school, even government colleges, they have been teaching like very old methods and not, no excitement. No students are very demotivated all the time and saying all the blah blah blah. But for us, what we can do, like there are many things that we can share on PowerPoints. make them attractive. In schools or O level student, what is the difference between metric system and O levels? They're using more pictures, more emotion pictures and other things, clip arts. So that is more easily, understandable. And if we talk about the paper system, that paper is very effective as compared to the metric board paper. You have to write less words and very qualitative answers. So I think we should go for this kind of activities.
uh, towards yeah, I partially agree with you, but I have a little bit different opinion when it comes. I don't know about papers in schools and colleges. I really don't even support that. I have a different point of view, but I have, like I told you in the beginning, I have very less knowledge about the schools and colleges. I have a lot of experience in terms of teaching English as a foreign language. The thing is, teaching English and teaching other subjects are a little bit different, because in teaching English there are a lot of things that you have to do that which you don't have to do in chemistry or physics or maths class. There are two different things.
Yeah.
But teaching is same, the way we teach is same, the objective is same. So my still point is, uh, like I had exposure of a teachers, like in school and colleges, that I observed from my opinion, like in school and colleges. In schools, when we talk about a school, the problem is in teachers, they do all of their focus on about students with they will pass or they will get higher
On
score, they
syllabus,
will clear the exams.
syllabus. They are
Yeah, like
only
focus on
focused.
syllabus. Yes.
Yeah,
And let's say that there are 50 students in the classroom, so their objective is they just go to the classroom and they start teaching. They start writing on the board. They have 40 minutes time period. So it's not like I'm saying that there are some, I would say that they have some problems as well with the time management. So it's not it's not that they are entirely wrong, but there are some problems that they face as well. So I'm not blaming that we are horrible teachers. There are some good teachers as well, but because of some problem, because of the time management, they cannot do things that they want to do in the classroom.
yeah.
So they go to the classroom. They have 40 minutes of period. They go to the classroom and they start writing on the whiteboard. They say, okay, open page number 74, page number 75,
Like
and they
before.
start teaching directly. So now they forgot one thing. We live in an era where our generation, like especially this generation, including me, if as a teacher I cannot keep my hand from the cell phone, how would how would I think that my student will stay away from the cell phone, or they will not use Facebook? If I, as a teacher, I'm keep using Facebook all the time, I am getting distracted very easily. As a mature adult teacher, how would I expect my student not to get distracted and not to stay focused all the time? It's injustice. So teacher expect students that they stay focused all the time and they stay attentive all the time, and they pay attention. So the term we use it, teacher center class, like in the classroom all the attention is on teachers. So we call it teacher center class. Like teacher wants that students should listen to me. They just start teaching right away. But what I learned from different teachers is, it would be great if you start teaching with little bit of motivation. Just go to the classroom and maybe for 5 minutes or for 2 minutes, come up with a motivation. Just don't teach directly. So that's what I do in my classroom, and that's what I learned from my teachers. So they and you know what, here's one thing that I would like to tell you. In my school, I had, now when I recall, I had a Sindhi teacher whom I
You
got.
must be getting.
So no, that's the opposite point. So you always started your class with motivation. I
Wow.
didn't learn any Sindhi. I didn't learn any Sindhi, but I loved his teaching style, because once he entered into the classroom, he didn't start the syllabus right away. He didn't start the topic right away. He went to the classroom
Yeah.
and he started talking. He told us to stand up and he said, "Open your teeth." And he checked our teeth, are they white enough or not? Even in class 8 or class 9, he does that. I think he still does that. So he's still teaching in that same school. He's a little bit old now, but great experience. So he's still teaching there. So some of
Yeah.
my friends, their elders and brothers, they go there to the school. So he still have the same teaching method. The way he do that, the way he does that, that when your
Yeah,
these eyes
I
start
can
checking the
understand.
teeth, so grab the attention of the students. And
Yes.
sometimes he goes to the classroom and start motivation, like he start teaching a story about acro, or about his life experience as a student, just to motivate us, and for 5 minutes, for 2 minutes, and then he started teaching. So
What
that's
I
what the point
remember
I'm
from my
trying to make
school
is.
days, yeah, some of my teachers, I used to hate them just because of they are very boring. They always keen to know about homework. Where's your homework? Where's your homework? All the time. So that's why students start taking them as a negative person, and they will never learn something from them.
I will tell you one more thing. Um, One thing that you should remember, and all the teachers should remember who are starting their career as a teachers. If the student, if the student does not like you, he will automatically start hating the syllabus. He will automatically start hating the subject.
Yes.
If I'm English language teacher and I'm giving a bad impression on the, maybe I'm way too much strict, and students, they do not like me, they will automatically hate my subject. They will lose their interest on the subject, because because of my teaching method, they are losing the interest on that subject. Maybe if sometimes we love physics, we love chemistry, especially I love physics,
Because of
and I
teachers.
love English as well. Yes, I love English language, because even from my childhood, because I had great teachers. They were very passionate, they were very kind, they were very cooperative. Even when I was failing, they talked with me and they said, "Keep it up, you are improving." Even when I know that I was failing, but my teacher was telling me, "You are improving." So that was a life changer for me. That I know that I am failing. Like I got like 2 marks out of 20, and my teacher is saying that's 2 marks is better than zero. It means you are improving. So when I got that motivation, the next time I tried to score 15 marks. So that's what I'm telling you. If on the other hand, I had some teachers, especially teachers of a maths and teachers of Urdu language. Oh my God, Urdu teachers in Pakistan, most of them, I would say, they are super strict, and because of them, students bunk school. They don't. So that's
Yeah.
the example I'm telling you as a student, not as a teacher.
Yeah.
So I could be wrong
Yes.
in that matter. Like I
So
told you
there.
in the beginning, zero
Mhm.
experience in school. So if a student hates you, they will hate the syllabus automatically. So
Mhm.
we have to be kind enough in the classroom. We have to learn how to be angry and when to be
Yes.
angry, and we have to learn when to be patient and when to tolerate the mistake,
One
when to
more thing
punish them,
I
and
want to
when to
discuss.
be strict.
Yes, like whenever we are starting our topic, so never start with the same thing, particular thing. Start with probing or brainstorming questions, asking them about that relevant topic, and this is another activity we can do. What do you say?
Yes. Now jumping to the next point, to your point, like, so let's go to that. The next point that I have, because I don't want to make it long, and we have a grammar session that to discuss. So let's we started with teaching. Now let's jump to how to teach. First of all, once you said something about warm up activity, I have to tell you one thing from my personal experience as a teacher. In Pakistan, I have, by the way, I have experience of teaching English in Malaysia as well. So there, I will try to tell you my experience, and I will try to compare these two teaching standard in two different countries. And obviously, now we know that in Malaysia and in Pakistan, education system are totally opposite. In Malaysia, the view of education is way much better than Pakistan, and it
Pakistan.
was opposite. Like a few years ago, just like 10 or 20 years ago, people from Malaysia, they used to come in Pakistan to study. They used to come in Pakistan to study Holy Quran. They used to come into Pakistan to take admission in madrasa, to take religious education. And now they are way much better than us, because they changed their way of
Criteria.
teaching. They changed their education system, they changed their everything, but education system as well. So in Malaysia, when I was teaching there, that what we learn in teaching courses as well, that never go into the classroom without a lesson plan. Now what is lesson plan, especially for the teachers, that I want to share something. And what is lesson plan? Lesson plan is, on a piece of paper, on maybe on your word pad, you organize everything. You will write what are you going, there's a complete structure for a lesson plan. I will share it with you, I will email it to you after the session, how to make a lesson plan. Or maybe in the next session, we are going to discuss how to make a lesson plan. It will be very effective for you. It's a way of teaching in a better way, like a way teaching, standard way of teaching.
Yeah,
So you
I
must
would
have a
love to
lesson
see
plan.
your lesson plan. Well, I also make a lot of lesson plans for every lecture of my
Yes,
students.
but in schools they have, that's the positive points in school. In better schools they have a lesson plan.
Yes,
Like in Happy Palace, in city school, all the schools which are better, they have lesson plan. But
yes,
when we talk about language institutes, when we talk about typical kind of institutes we have, language teach, where teacher teaches English, they do not have lesson plan. Obviously, I know
yes,
them because I have been there. I have and I didn't have lesson plan as well when I was teaching. So they don't have lesson plan. They just think that this is what I want to teach, and they go to the class directly. I know they have years of teaching experience, but still you must have a lesson plan because every class is different. Every student is different. They are not robots. Humans are different. Even when you have years of teaching, you will always face challenge in a different class. There will be always a student who will give you a challenge because every student is different. Every student has a
yes,
different psychology. They are not same all the time. So in lesson plan you will write that how are you going to start the topic, what should be the motivation, what should be the warm-up activity, what should be the exercise, and how much time you will take. And there must be a teacher and student interactive session, and there must be a student and student interactive session, so the students can interact with each other. So you will write everything in the lesson plan, and that is something that we have very less in Pakistan, and we have very common in different countries. So as a teacher we should focus on lesson plans. It would be very beneficial for us and for others teacher as well, so they can easily come and take over the classroom and they can see how you are teaching. So there will be no loss for the student even when you're switching the classroom. So that's the thing we are going to discuss later. Now let's jump into grammar. So today our main session is about grammar, how to importance of grammar in the classroom and how to teach grammar. So let's talk about that. What is your opinion about grammar?
well, if I talk about importance of grammar, so it is important when you have to go for formal writing. Can you hear me? Okay. When you have to go for formal writing or something, like you have been judged by anyone, so where you can say grammar is important, but for speaking it is not. Like I used to be, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So I was saying, like when you have to write something, or you've been judged by your teachers, or you're gathering, you're in a presentation of your university. So where you can say grammar is important. But for normal people, no one, take it as a seriously. But for my opinion, what I say, you should know at least basic grammar, because whenever you are talking about past and present tenses, so you will get confused whether you are talking about future, you're talking about your past activity. So it is not easy if you are not using proper helping verbs like had, was, were, will, future. So I think these kind of basic grammar is very important.
I agree with you because when as a student your grammar is not good, like maybe you make grammatical mistakes. Sometimes the message will not be clear to the listener. I agree with your point. But as a language teacher, I will tell you a very important thing for students and for teachers as well. They have to understand one thing. Grammar has sometimes grammar are important is important, and sometimes grammar is not important. It depends on the condition. For example, let's talk about when the grammar is not important. Like you will see most of the teachers, they will tell you that, and they're right by the way, that grammar is not that much important when it comes to speaking. And I agree with them. It depends on the condition. For example, there are some, let's say that you're talking with your friend in English. So at that time your friend is not judging how good your English is. She's judging your message, that what are you trying to say. On the other hand, let's say you're talking with your teacher, or maybe you're talking with a shopkeeper. So in these conditions, the point I'm trying to make is when you talk to share a message, at that condition grammar is not that much important, because your objective is to share the message and listener's objective is to understand whatever you're trying to say. It will be easier for you to talk with a shopkeeper. Maybe you visit, you are going to visit Canada, and you're in Canada and you're talking with a shopkeeper. Your English is very horrible, but still the shopkeeper will be able to understand you. For example, you go to a shop and you say, I buy CD, how much? The shopkeeper will know what you're trying to say. So There are conditions when the message is important, and that condition grammar, you can easily make the grammar is not that much focused, so the grammatical mistakes will be easily avoidable. So in that condition, that's okay when your grammar is weak. But on the other hand, when someone is judging your English language, when someone is checking how good your English is, and they are, for example, let's say you are giving an interview. So in that interview, if you make a grammatical mistake, it will be highly noticeable, and you will lose your points. Like, so you are giving IELTS exam, you are giving any exam which is which is reflecting your English language, where they are checking your English language. You are giving an English language test. Your grammar is important. You're writing something. You're writing an essay. You're writing email. Your grammar is important because it is highly noticeable when it is in written form.
Yes.
You are giving a presentation, grammar is important. So there are some conditions when your message is important, and there in that condition you have to focus on your message. You can ignore your grammatical mistake. Listeners will not even, they will not pay attention on your grammatical mistake. For example, when we watch movies, as a teacher, when we watch movies, we will observe a lot of grammatical mistakes there, but we ignore them because the message is about, what is happening in the movie, what is the story all about. So in that condition, you can easily ignore the grammar is not that much highly noticeable. But when someone is checking your English, when someone is checking your level of English, when you're trying to impress someone by your English, and that time, yeah, you have to pay attention on your grammar. That time you cannot make grammatical mistake. Right now, let's say for example, right now we are talking. Right now, our focus is not on grammar. Our focus is on the message. Your focus is to understand whatever I am saying. My audience focus is on understanding my opinion and my ideas. So in that condition, that's they are not focusing on my grammar. But when I teach English, at that time when I make a grammatical mistake, that will be noticeable. So these are the two conditions. Sometimes grammar is important, and sometimes your speaking, your idea, your message, your fluency is important.
Yes.
For example, when you're speaking, you have to pay attention on your fluency, your words. That's more important in that condition. Now, do you agree with that?
Yes, I
I could be wrong,
definitely
but
agree.
that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
It's not it's not a right. It's just
Yeah.
my opinion. It's just the way
Yeah.
I see things as a teacher from my experience. So
Yes.
that's the thing. Now let's talk about how, teaching grammar in the classroom. Let's talk about that, and how to teach grammar in the classroom, and how should we as a teacher teach grammar, and how should a student can learn grammar. So let's talk about that. By the way, for most of the teachers who are teaching English, teaching grammar is not something they like to do because it's kind of like boring. That is the fact,
Yeah.
because sometimes when
One
you
thing
teach grammar, there are a lot of.
one thing I want to share with you. There is a student, one of my students, one student all the time. So, what happens whenever I teach him tenses, he never uses it in daily speech or daily routine. So, I don't know how can I make him more motivated for this.
So whenever you want to teach him whenever you teach
Yeah,
him tenses, he makes grammatical
yes, he
mistakes
never
and
use
he
it.
ignored your lesson, right?
Yeah, he ignores and he never use it in his daily speech.
Yes, because maybe I will tell you that in a minute. So you see, the problem is once we go to the classroom and once we start teaching grammar, uh, the way we teach grammar is very important. But before we teach grammar, we have to do one thing that we usually fail to do is we forget to tell students that why they are learning this grammar. For example, for the sake of example, let's say I go to my class and my objective is to teach present simple, like do and does. So I just go to my classroom and I start teaching. Maybe I have activities, maybe I have a lot of lesson plans, I have a lot of videos. But I started directly and I didn't tell them that why they should learn this grammar. They will never have the interest because I'm not grabbing their attention on the topic. So the first thing as a teacher we should do whenever you want to teach grammar, the first thing you have to do is you have to grab their attention on the topic. You can start with motivation, and after motivation you have to tell them that why it is important for them to learn. Because now there's one credit that I will give to the students. When we were students, we were stupid. That's the fact. Even most of my friends, they take it like, in offensive manner, but it is the fact. When we were students, we were stupid. The reason we were stupid, we were not thinking out of the box, we were not smart. When I can say that when the internet or when the smartphone happened, it took me a lot of time to understand how to use smartphone. There are a lot of things in the smartphone that I didn't know at that time. Still, there are a lot of things on the Facebook that I don't know.
Still we
I go
don't
to
know.
YouTube to learn that. But students in the class, these students, I have a son. He's 1.5 years old, and he knows how to how to change the video on YouTube. And I have a niece who is almost 2.5 years old. She knows how to open a cell phone and how to start Baby Shark. I didn't know that when I was that age. When I was that age, I didn't know anything at all. I used to eat mud. But now the students are way too much intelligent. So once they do, so you have to tell them that why it is important for you to learn. They are not sheeps. You have to grab their attention, and you have to tell them why it is important for you. Otherwise they will not take interest, and they will just talk, and they will just think about something else. So that's whenever you want to teach present simple or any topic at all, go to the classroom, do a little bit of motivation, and after the motivation, tell them that what you are going to teach them and why it is important for them. How can they use this topic in their practical life? I am
Mm.
teaching present simple, and they have no idea where to use present simple. They know present simple now, but they don't know where to use it. And this is the biggest problem in Pakistan. As an English language student, English as a second language we have. When we speak, we know tenses, but we don't know where to use tenses. So, because it's not the failure of a student, it is the failure of a teacher. Because when I go to my classroom, I am not teaching them where to
Yes,
use passive
you
voice.
are
I'm teaching
right.
them how to transfer. Yes. So when you go to the classroom, teach them first that where can they use present simple, or where can they use do and does, and what if, and don't start teaching. First of all, give them wrong sentences. That's the example that I want to tell you right now. It's very important thing. And you should try teach them in the class. You will see the class will be very different. Go to the class and start the topic. Like, start with motivation, start with how they should what are you teaching them and why it is important for them. And after that, teaching them, talk about common mistakes that students usually do in that topic. For example, when you're teaching present simple, you can write a sentence on the whiteboard. If you're teaching online class, write a sentence on your wordpad, like she does not goes to office, and tell them why it is wrong. So they can find out, most of them will find out,
Yeah,
because
that's
that's the basic
something very
understanding we
different.
have.
I didn't
So
have any
once
idea
they,
about it.
so tell them why it is wrong. So they will give you opinion. Some of them will give you right opinion, some of them will give you wrong opinion. Once they give you wrong answer, you know that these kind of students, they don't know the grammar. And some of them give you the right answer, you will know that they know the right answer. So you have to merge them, because once you go to the classroom and you're teaching something, half of the students already know the subject, half of the students, they don't know the subject. So guess who will lose the interest? If they don't know the subject, they will lose the interest,
Yes.
right? So when I'm sitting in the classroom and I already know something, I will not pay attention to the teacher. I will say why he's teaching me, or you already know. I become a smart student in the class. The generation we have, we think like we are smarter than the teacher. So they will think the same thing. So they will lose interest. So now you know that half of the students know, half the students don't know. So you have to merge
Yes.
something, and you have to add something for them. You have to make it a little bit advanced, and you have to make it a little basic. So that's how you will know that your class. That's how you will know your audience. Now, start with
Mm.
where the students make mistakes. So it's a way of grabbing their attention. It's a way of telling them these kind of mistakes they do this kind of little bit activities, but don't make it too long. 3 4 5 or 10 minutes. For 2 minutes or 5 minutes will be enough. 10, 12, 3, 4 sentences based on the student you have. Judging, make an educated guess, and then teach them common mistakes. Don't teach them the topic, teach them common mistakes the students do. And after that, once they know that this is the mistake they do. For example, I'm sitting in the classroom and teacher is teaching something that this is the mistake that students do. And I realize, you know what? I do the same mistake. What happens now? Now you have my attention. Now I'm listening, and I will not repeat the mistake as well. So that is the effective way of teaching in the classroom. That is what you should do whenever you go to the class. Motivation: teach them that why you are learning, why you are teaching them, and why they should learn. Why, where they should apply this lesson. And after that, teach them common mistakes that students do, and then go to the topic, and then start the teaching the material you have shared, like video, audio classes, whatever you do in the class. Then do
Definitely,
that.
I'm gonna do the same
But
thing today.
that's how you should start.
Yes.
And one last thing, one most important thing, in the classroom, once you teach them, once you teach grammar, I have a complaint with this with most of the students. Like now, it is something. Now I feel like now we are getting better. Like when I was growing up, we most of the teachers, even mature teachers, we have more experienced teacher we have in English, they do the same mistake. They teach English with subject, verb, object. Now there's a problem in that. When we teach them in a formulation method, like subject, verb, first form, object, we are not coming from background where we are learning English for the first time. For example, let's say you are in China. In China, they promote their own native language. So students, they have very less exposure of of English language. So for them, you can tell them how to make sentences. When you teach them subject, verb, object in present simple, subject, verb, helping verb, do and does, object, subject, verb is MR, ing form, object. So you are teaching them how to make sentences, which they already know. So don't start with formulation method. Start with helping verbs. Start with do and does, and where do we use do and does, and what kind of mistakes that the students do in do and does. Start with SMR and teach them where do we use SMR and what kind of mistakes the students make in making sentences with SMR. Then use them in your application. For example, you are teaching present continuous. You are teaching SMR, so you can show them a picture and tell them what I am wearing in this picture. Let's say you're showing a picture of you in a picnic. I do that in the classroom. I have a picture that I'm standing on a sea view and I'm drinking cold drink, and I am wearing shorts and then glasses and a hat. So I show them my picture and I say what I am wearing in this picture. Now it's a personal exposure. They're
Yes,
seeing their teacher in a picture, like they're having the attention. Now they're saying, oh, there's
yes,
a teacher who's outside the classroom. Now they get to know you, that there's a teacher who's outside the classroom who can wear jeans, who are like a normal person like we are. So they give more attention to you. Like they will say, oh sir, you're looking handsome, oh sir, you're looking you can say fashionable, something like that. When they do that, like the class is a little bit more interesting. And then you can, what I'm wearing in the picture, they say you are wearing. That's how you can teach them is MNR. That's how you can tell them your routine. Like for example, the way I start teaching. So what I do is, sometime when I have to teach present simple, so I make a video. Like I'm having a cup of tea, and I it's a little bit effort, but when you are passionate, you can do that. When you're having a cup of tea, make a video. I'm drinking a cup of tea, or every day I drink 7 cups of tea, and stop the video. you know or sometimes you are eating something, make a video. Or like, I eat my lunch at 10 o'clock. That's it. 2 minute 1 second video. Play that video in the classroom. Like, that's daily routine. I eat my lunch at 10 o'clock. I drink tea at 7 o'clock. I drink 7 cups of tea. So that's how you teach them. Like, that's, you're telling them your routine in a video. You're not teaching them in a class, but you're playing a video and you are inside the video. So it's like in an online class, there's a screen, and in online class there's a video that you're playing and you're also in the video. So that's something that grabs the attention of a student, and they like the
yes,
way you are doing that, and they will see there is something different. It's not like subject verb object thing, and they will know and they will take more attention. And tell them to do the same thing. The point I'm trying to make is, do that kind of activities, like make videos in the classroom, not videos of cartoons, video of yourself. That's how they will enjoy it. They will take more attention on you as a teacher. They will like you as a teacher as well, and they will like the subject, because you are sharing something personal to them. They get to see you outside the classroom. That's how you can teach better. I don't
yes,
want to make it a
definitely.
very long session. We have like 38
Definitely,
minutes already.
all the points were amazing, and I'm gonna have right away the class. So definitely, I'll apply all the techniques.
Yes, I have another class as well. So inshallah, we will have another class later. We will have another live session, and in the next live session, we are going to discuss how to teach present simple and how to teach speaking in the classroom. Okay.
Okay. Yes, definitely.
So that will be the topic of our next session, inshallah, and especially for both of us and for the audience. The reason, when I tell you something, it's a revision for me, and I can when I teach you something, I can get to know how, I can find out what are the things I am still doing wrong in the classroom. So that's also beneficial for me, for you, and for the audience who are watching us. So I
Correct.
hope you enjoyed this
Thank you
session,
so much for
and
your
Allah
all.
Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Thank you very much. And if you're watching this video, do not forget to subscribe. And let us know in the comment below that what is your opinion about our point of views. Bye bye.
Bye.